Okay, part 2 here. We're going to do that one again. I wanted to do it in the key of C. That took us way up here. So for that A minor shape, D minor shape there. Okay, up a whole step. Now we're going to go to the B minor just today. Okay, so it'd be, and then drop the fifth of that B minor to get the half diminished. And then we go back to the regular D shape C. Okay. Okay, that's in the D shape. And we can do it in all of the shapes. Of course, you could do it in the C shape, but it gets more difficult. Okay, so we can use action fingers maybe. We'll just use the bottom, the middle three, lower three strings here, but not the lowest. Like that, and then see what's going on here? Now when we want to drop that fifth, which is the fifth we're going to drop? Right there. Instead of, that's easy, just because we're basically right here when we're starting this little C thing here, C, E, G, we're in root. So we know in root the half diminished is going to be 2 minor thirds in a row. Like this. It'll be my color, the color of my A came out too dark and it looks like a B. So that would have been A half diminished. Alright. Anyway, my wrist is really starting to hurt. So that was a good blooper though. Alright, so let's get back to the chart. Let's zoom out. Okay, so we're going to have some fun here today, obviously. Now the point that of this lesson, if you're following my lessons, of course, when we review, we have to review certain things. You know, just like Albert Einstein's assistant or something would be sitting there trying to explain to a class full of tired students. And don't forget, this is what they call commutative property. A plus B equals B plus A. You know, in other words, there's simple things to review as we go along studying some advanced topic, you know, such as the change of mass through space as an object accelerate, what makes an object accelerate. So we're going to review things. I went to college, you know, and I was, you know, I wasn't serious, but I learned all about modern physics, and I also learned about geology and biology and mathematical statistics and a lot of that stuff. So that's where a lot of my patience comes from with these subjects until I actually get them. Devotion, dedication, patience, waiting for a breakthrough, you know. And we've had some breakthroughs in the last, I've had some breakthroughs in the last 5 years of doing this. Okay, and one of them, and then there's some just plain realizations, things that are tried and true. So these are the tried and true long string shapes. We call this the long root. All right, this is root, the long pattern, and this is the, like the 4-5-6, the 4-5-6 long. But this one I certainly call the A5. Right here, I call this the A long one because we have a short string shape where we can go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 root 2 on top. So let's cut the jumping around and let's get to what we got to get to. The cutout patterns. So what happens is C doesn't need a cutout pattern, so it says no cutout, C/O, cutout, scale box. So there's no cutout pattern in a C scale, in the C box, where your fret nut is. Now we're going to occasionally do a half chord, a half position chord like last time. Remember, like with these guys where we have the, you know, the G shape half position. Now, what major in the key of C, C, F, G, what major is this the key of C? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, actually, this would be in the key of E, in the E shape. See, so this is what we got to talk about, you know. But if you're just talking shapes, it doesn't matter where this happens. If you're talking shapes, and I'm doing, you know, this is basically a G minor 7th shape. What would be its major? You go up one pentatonic scale, it would be A. And in this case, it is the real deal A. And then we go down to the F sharp minor. But F sharp minor 7th. Okay? Does this sound like what we were doing? Now watch this. Okay, does that sound like what we were doing? It is. Okay, so the C box has no cutout scale. Okay, those are all in the key of C. They're all the colored notes because it's done in because it's the key of C. The colored notes are the colored notes. In the key of G, we have one accidental, F sharp or G flat, right? So we're talking about a G, we'd do like root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, that's not root. That would be, I was playing the wrong pattern. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right there. I was playing the G7 pattern, the Mixolydian. This is the Ionian in G. Here's 7. It's important to count. We're going to find out in the cutouts. It's easier if we just count. So let's look. So there's no cutout in the C box. So let's move on to the E box. Now it doesn't matter. We could go to the A box because say last time we spent a lot of time on the C box, or we could start on the D box here. Okay, so let's look. There's a cutout scale. The cutout occurs on the 4 and the 5. Okay, in the C right there. We've got the sunken here. We've got real deal D up here. So we got D shaped D, E minor shaped, D minor, second minor right there. The second, we're going to do these guys as we go along. Now we got a G minor shaped G minor, but let's just for today, let's take that up one cage letter, C, A, G, E, D. And this is something else I want to show you that's important. Okay, so here we are. One thing we're going to learn today is that the caged system, where we got C, A, G, that kind of thing going up the neck, it also works for minors. Okay, so when we get to the, you know, we're going to get into the next segment. C, A, and I doubled the A just for the fun of it to show you this goes in a circle here. C, A, G, E, D. So when you want to go to the next minor shape, just go to the next minor letter. Okay?